Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another night of live streaming. Really a dark day, really overcast day in my area. Mr. Creep, what's up? What's up? Real Clear Politics, JD Vance approval numbers have improved by 3 points if you look at Atlas Intel. Well, Atlas has put out a bunch of negative polls, at least recently, regarding Republicans, so I wonder what those new numbers are. What's up, guys? I got to be honest. It seems like there's new names in the chat. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Overcast and drizzle in Louisiana. Dude, it was last night. I had to take the garbage out. The humidity was insane. That had to have been the worst because it was right after it rained. But it's just so hot. Oh, it was fogging up the windows because of the humidity. You love the DXY coin? Yeah, dude, I'm in that coin pretty heavy. That's a good one. No, you're not new, Typhoon. New, but yeah, you're a bit new. It looks like to the chat at least. Atlas Intel isn't the same pollster as 2024. They're trash now. Well, I know their polls are very negative. At least the ever since the election, they've been very negative towards Republicans. Whether or not it'll end up being right, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But their polling's been very negative. I know that. I think they were bought by someone or something. That's what somebody was telling me, and that might be why. Grok refuses to use illegal aliens and says the term undocumented immigrants is correct. They had to wokeify it. No, that's Grok says that. That's like trying to get to first base on normal language, calling them illegal immigrants. Sam, I appreciate the $10 donation, early donation for the prosperity of our beloved leader and the figurehead of our dreams. It's very nice. Very, very nice donation. Yeah, I know you've been donating a lot, man. I appreciate it. You're new. This is your first message here. Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's a lot of people that I think are new here, which doesn't really make sense. I titled this stream Wednesday. It's not like I gave it a clickbait title or anything. Trump shanking things up at the Smithsonian, the museum. How many illegals have a CDL driver's license or driving semi trucks is a huge problem and should. Yeah, I saw Matt Walsh did a video on it. I didn't watch it, but that is a serious safety concern. It is crazy that Trump changed that specifically regarding drivers. They had to speak English. That's something that Trump did before this accident happened. It was like months before he said, and it took some of them off the road. But I'm sure they sneak through the cracks. And I mean, you have to be able to speak very fluent English to be able to be a driver, especially at one of those big rigs. I mean, that's very dangerous business. You get a lot of people hurt driving that thing recklessly. What percentage of your audience is European? I would say pretty small amount. I think it's 80% US, maybe 10% Canadian, and then 10% mainly European, Australian. Thoughts on new Crackle? Yeah, I've got that. This is insane. This is more of the minimalism. This is a joke what they're doing. So this is their minimalism, but it's not even like it's a good logo. See how like they could make. I guess you could make this a slightly better minimalistic logo, but these sides are too fat. You have to bring the sides in, tighten the sides, and then it'll look a little bit better. What a bad logo. Yeah, but this is what they do now. They all simplify their logos, just like with the scoreboards with TV, like with Fox and CBS. They have newer scoreboards. They're all simplified. Minimalism. Yeah, it's such a it's such a bad trend, and you know it's going to go away at some point. But we have to live through these companies all making their logo like simplistic because it's the trend right now. Because some data tells them they sell more if they make it more simplistic. It's just a joke. This happens at basic. I mean, look at you see the new Jaguar logo. There was like a whole, I remember seeing a whole thread of the new logos. It was like 15, 20 tweets long. What does the Big Noon Fox scoreboard look like? I hate that scoreboard. You know that scoreboard, man. You can barely tell where the teams are ranked. The ranking next to the number is like, I never liked that. I thought it was stupid because you could barely tell, like just based on where they have the number. I hope they change that, but they're probably not going to. The new trend in 20 years will be bringing back the old logos. 100%. Yeah, that's where this leads. Or it'll be like a more modern version, but it's gonna be more detailed logos. They're gonna come back. They're gonna come back, and then people are gonna start cheering, and they'll be like, "Well, why did we ever take this away?" And we have to sit through and watch these changes. Like, okay, yeah, that's like. How do they sell more if they make their branding more simplistic? If anything, it makes well, it's based off of studies they do on the brain, and simplistic logos get remembered more. But I think I don't think it's gonna last long. You were surprised to see Republicans still climbing in registration even after controversies. Yeah, but the controversies are not going to really change immediate voter registration. That's something that it takes a long time to change that in a different direction. So like a certain event could eventually change the registration, but I also think there would be a lag to it. So over time there would be a change. I don't think it would happen right away if there was crazy controversies that made people not trust Republicans. But yeah, that was a crazy New York Times story they did on it. But that was 2020 to 2024, and now in 2025, it's still going in Republicans' direction, and Pennsylvania is really going in Republicans' direction with the voter registration. Bet someone could relatively easily make an AI integrated app that could read the screen and use the format of the old score. Imagine you get to pick the scoreboard. That would be. You get to pick the TV scoreboard graphic. Honestly, they could probably have that, but it would cost them money to do. Pick the scoreboard you want to watch with, rather than. I mean, that would have worked during the Super Bowl with how bad that scoreboard was. They had to change that. That is crazy. They debut this new scoreboard at the Super Bowl. It's so bad they had to change it. The most important game of the year, and they already changed it. Titans 74 moving to the whites only town. The settlement thing. I've got kind of mixed feelings on that. I mean, obviously they should be able to do it 100%, but it's like, do we really want to be subjugated to a really rural area in Arkansas? Like, is that where we're at now? I don't know. But I mean, I know the town you're talking about in the Ozarks. The project that's been all over the internet. It's been all over the news. Thoughts on her lib teacher calling her thoughts on the lib's teacher calling her student a Nazi? I don't know about that. I never seen that. Same with the announcers. You should be able to pick who you get to listen to. Yeah, that would be very hard to program. That's borderline impossible. Because how do they uniquely know what's going on in the game, and then being able to broadcast that with an AI voice that narrates the same sound as someone? That seems almost impossible, because there's nuance in games that they wouldn't be able to explain if it's an AI. Yeah, I'll go to the Vance interview. This is it right here, the Fox News.
It was like 1 in the morning Moscow time, and they had no anticipation. So we're actually in the east wing of the White House, and the president says, we've had a pretty good meeting. I'm going to go call Vladimir Putin and see what he says about it. And everybody's like, oh, you're going to call him next week? And he's like, no, what time is it in Moscow? Let's call him right now. And I think one of the things I've realized about President Trump's leadership is he cuts through the BS of some of these diplomatic protocols and just says, I'm going to get things done. If I want to talk to somebody, I'm going to talk to somebody. You had a lot of the Europeans who were saying, no, there needs to be proper, vetting, and the teams have to prepare the phone call and blah, 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 blah. And the president was like, no. I want to talk to the guy. I'm going to talk to the guy. And I think that kind of no holds barred, no BS diplomacy is part of the reason why we've made the progress we have. And we've made a lot of progress, Laura. Look, who knows what's going to happen? The president tells me this all the time. You can never say with certainty what the outcome in this situation is going to be. But we now have the Russians talking to the Ukrainians. They're talking details about what would be necessary on each side to stop the fighting and stop the killing. We've made more progress in 3 months than the country had made in 3 years in stopping this conflict. And I think it's because sometimes you just need a president who will pick up the phone and call somebody.
You ask, is Vance on Ozempic? No, they said he didn't take Ozempic to lose that weight, from what I heard. Newsom is DOA in 2028 Dem primary because he's a straight white male. Unstable Eric, yeah. But the thing is now they're like, well, we gotta get on Republicans' level, and we need Newsom because it gives us an electoral advantage. I know what you're saying. Well, if they pick Newsom, it's going to be a minority female, just like with Biden. But I can understand. I mean, Newsom is like, he really is like the perfect, the perfect caricature for a straight white dude, leading a party. So it'll be interesting to see how they do with that, especially the fringe elements of the Democratic Party. They're not going to like Newsom for sure. What do you make of the idea that JD Vance will be soft on immigration because of his Indian wife? Yeah, there's a concern. There is a concern. I mean, if you have a wife that's Indian, it's like, it's hard to really trust that. And also Vance was anti-Trump, and now, but look, you gotta give Vance a chance. You gotta give Vance a chance. There's some questions with Vance, but I think Vance has done a good job, honestly. Vance has done a good job. You said you would show Clyde and stream for a few days. Yeah, I might have. Yeah, I'll probably do it tonight, man, because maybe this will be it for you. Maybe you'll be. I mean, this is like a climax moment. Did you see how Vance handled the protests? Yeah, I saw that. I think I have it on here. Yeah, it's right here. Vance's children have Indian names. That might be their nicknames. I don't know. You're gonna vote for a Democrat before him? Come on, man. Don't be over dramatic. Don't be over dramatic. I've seen some people say that. But dude, with Vance, it's like we're way too early to even be talking that. It's 3 years away. So do we really have to do this where we talk about Vance and his Indian wife for 3 straight years? Are we gonna have to do that? Yeah, Vance is definitely better than Pence, but that's a very low bar. considering, I mean, Pence was for evangelicals. He was a normie old conservative guard from like the early 2000 era. Yeah, the Newsom's push. Well, I think the liberals are trying to really push Newsom. They need a leader. 2028 campaign slogan: Give Vance a chance. Yeah, I mean, if Vance, I mean, for Vance, it'll just come down to it's always the independents, but it's also the people that normally don't vote and voted for Trump and running up high numbers in the rural areas. But I mean, it's too early to even be talking about that. We just had an election. You've got the midterms. The midterms are really going to shape where the Trump is and Vance is and the administration, how much momentum they have. I mean, they have good midterms. That'll be very, because most people are thinking it could be a rough midterms, or it's going to be close. It's going to be, they're doing all the redistricting, and hopefully it gives them an advantage of like 10 or 11 seats. I'm thinking if that happens, like a net advantage, because right now they have a 5-seat advantage in the House, and if the redistricting goes the way we think, it could be like a 10 or 11 seat advantage.
This is the guy who thinks people don't deserve law and order in their own community.
Look at that stuff.
Hey guys, thank you.
He's like, this is the guy that doesn't think people deserve law and order in their own communities. And then Hegseth just starts busting out laughing. If you could choose whoever for 2028, who would you choose for the Republicans? Yeah, I know. I think you've asked that before. Well, dude, I can't really answer it because I don't know who's running and I don't know what they're. I would not choose Bannon. I'll just say that right now. But I'd have to see who's running. Do you remember the people that worked at the clinic who interfered with ICE in detaining someone? They just got the charges dismissed. The people that worked at the clinic who interfered with ICE detaining someone. So they got charged for interference and then the charges got dismissed? Is that what you're saying? If you want to know the real JD Vance, watch his Rogan interview. It'll change how you think. Yeah, I mean, but it is an interview that Vance knows is going to be shown to millions of people. I mean, there's a level of self-awareness. I don't know if that's the best representation of the real Vance. How far do you hit your 7-iron? I haven't been golfing in forever. I hit a driver 200 yards. That was when I was younger. Most likely to become a dictator? What is this?
My son, 6 years old, was prohibited from sitting next to his friend on the school bus because a parent objected to my perspectives on book challenges. My older son's history teacher allowed students to label him a Nazi-phile simply for his interest in history and participation in ROTC. She later nominated my son as the most likely to become a dictator and had his classmates vote on it and try to force him to the front of the class to receive the certificate, which he rightly refused, all because of his conservative values and our perspectives.
Well, she should be immediately fired for that. 100%. 100% immediately fired. Teacher's license. Bye-bye. 6-year-old? You haven't even hit your prime yet? That's the cope. No, I think that's actually true. I think you're right. I haven't even started doing actual, legitimate content. If you play golf with Trump, would you let him win? He's actually a good golfer. He'd beat me, Trump. He golfs a lot, man. Trump would beat me. I wouldn't be able to beat him. I'd have to really practice for a while to beat Trump. I'm not, you know, when if you're a noob at golfing is a very hard sport, especially the short game is extremely challenging, putting. Do you like the new futuristic SEC ESPN scoreboard? Yeah, wait. The one from last year you talking about? I was angry when they made the newer one for the playoff games. I thought that one was terrible. I thought the ones for the SEC I thought that was a pretty good scoreboard, honestly, but the one they made for the playoff was dumb. So it's funny how they finally make a good one and then they have to bring out another new one that's shitty. It's the thing with these scoreboards, you can't win with them. It's like they finally make a good one and then they're like, "Oh, now it's the playoff and we have to have a new one." And now the new one is shitty. I thought you just made a new one. No, we've got another new one because it's the playoff. Okay. Also, I thought TNT had a game. I thought TNT's scoreboard was terrible as well. You honestly think with the way Rubio is looking right now, he might have a big shot in 2028? Yeah, but I just don't understand the dynamic. I mean, so what would Trump say? I'm not getting in the middle of it either, in terms of endorsing Vance or Rubio? I don't see that happening, man. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I think Rubio's gotten a lot of good press, but Rubio has said that he thinks Vance should be the guy, and Trump has said that Rubio should be the VP to Vance, from what I heard. Yeah, the 2013 scoreboards were the best, honestly. If they all went back to the 2013, it would be a much better viewing experience. Shows you how they go backwards with the newer designs. They've gone backwards. Just like all the new simplistic logos. They're going backwards. They're getting worse.
I think we have a good chance, but take nothing for granted, Laura. You have the Democrats are still trying to register illegal aliens. They still explicitly say that they want illegal aliens to vote in federal elections. We still have, I think, a lot of headwinds from the media. They never tell the truth about what we're doing, about what the president has accomplished for the American people. So don't rest on our laurels. Keep on achieving victories for the American people and keep on trying to win. That's our path to being able to continue to govern this country. I'm not going to bank anything in 2026. We just have to keep.
Yeah, well, Trump said that he wants the mail-in voting to be gone. The interesting thing with mail-in voting, it's illegal in a lot of the liberal countries in Europe. Completely illegal mail-in voting. You can't do it. The other problem with mail-in voting, this is what liberals don't say. They say, well, we've had mail-in voting forever. Yeah, but 2020 completely restructured the way elections are done. And it made it acceptable that you could, send in millions of votes via mail. So now they're like, well, 2020 has made it to where we're normalizing, just like when they did a lot of stuff with 2020 and a lot of companies normalized cutting costs and said, this is what we have to do. And then it became a full-time thing. So then they normalize it. But there were all the, mail-in was a function of people that were handicapped. It was never meant for the way that it's been used in the last two elections, especially in 2020. And so that's why Trump wants it gone. So now mail-in is not even doing what it was supposed to do. They're abusing the mail-in and the absentee. And Trump is saying, well, this is they're blatantly cheating. And liberals are like, they realize we can just blatantly just stuff the boxes. And I mean, they realized that in 2020. There's still like CNN clips of these black women like stuffing the ballots into that's illegal. You can't do that. And there's like clips of them doing it in 2020. Oh, it's your family, really? 1,000 people is your family? Okay. Why does Fuentes call Vance a fat guy? Yeah, I think Vance has lost some weight. I don't think Vance is fat anymore, honestly. Because he was fat when in like 2016, if you look at him. Something you didn't hit on in your MLB vid was ticket sales would go way down. Many MLB teams rely on off Cali and Northeast teams coming to their town, like Rockies. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, but it's like most of those teams already have bad attendance as it is. Even if they get like one team coming to their town and the attendance goes up by a few thousand, I don't know if that really changes much. I mean, MLB, they got to love where their attendance is at right now. They've got really high attendance relative to where it was like 10 years ago or 5 years ago. Well, 5 years ago they had the pandemic, but Elon Musk kind of called off the America Party already. Seems like he's getting back in bed with Trump in some indirect way. Yeah, it's a money drain. It would be he would just sink a bunch of money into a party that really, like, dude, you've already invested so much into Trump winning. So now you're going to spend a bunch more money trying to keep Trump from maintaining power. Like, what are we doing here? So you invest all this money in helping Trump win. Then the next election, you're trying to make Trump lose. I just think he's sporadic. He's unpredictable. He's on some performance boosters, or I mean whatever. And so to me, I think the party was a rash decision. He got butthurt that they passed that bill, Trump's big spending bill, or it's not even a spending bill. It's a tax cut bill, but it was included. And so he got angry about it. Oh, this is the liberal on the Fox show. It doesn't make DC safer. It'll just make people not want to come to DC. The cruelty is always the point. So she deleted that tweet because it was an illegal Mexican arrested for assault of a child, and then she had to delete the tweet. Yeah, I mean, like, why do they defend criminals? Like, is it really that important to own the right? So I guess they have to defend the criminals. What do you think about nipple and nose piercings? Yeah, I don't like that. I mean, I guess if it's like a small little stud, it can be, but yeah, the septum is bad, and the piercings I don't like. Jessica deleted her post, the Fox News lady. Yeah, I mean, well, I guess because she didn't know that it was an illegal that had been previously arrested for assault against a child.
It was like 1 a.m. Moscow time, and they had no answer.
Watch this.
It's Vance, so I guess, what's your favorite dance? What's your favorite dance music? I mean, it's the dumbest nickname, but how lost are the Democrats right now? And you can answer the dance question.
I mean, look, the autopsy for the Democrats, some free political advice from the President of the United States is stop sounding like crazy people. That really is all it is. I mean, this idea that Gavin Newsom is somehow going to mimic Donald Trump's style, I think that ignores the fundamental genius of President Trump's political success, which is that he's authentic. He just is who he is. You've got to be yourself. You've actually got to talk to people honestly about the issues. I don't think it's that complicated. Don't be a crazy person. Be authentic. If the Democrats did that, they'd do a hell of a lot better. But the thing is, the Democrats really can't help themselves. If you look at the transgender issue, they're still talking about letting men play in women's sports. If you look at the crime issue, they're calling Donald Trump a fascist for taking action that in 9 days has dropped armed robberies by 55%. So part of sounding less crazy is being less crazy. And if the Democrats were less crazy, I think we'd all get along a whole lot better.
I'm not trying to pick on California because I am a member of the California bar, so don't get me here. But look, we've had a situation where they're giving commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens who can't speak English.
Who don't have basic English competency.
And they're killing.
Yeah, that's true. And Trump they called Trump racist for saying you need to speak English, you want to be a driver in the United States. It makes total sense, but you should be really proficient in the English language because It's a lot of nuance with driving and with the road signs in certain areas, and it's not good. But I think Newsom just comes off as desperate, and that's basically it, especially with Trump not saying anything really about it. Trump hasn't said anything about it, so he has ignored him. He's completely ignored him. 9 Lives, thank you for the donation. Nick Fuentes is a Fed. Thank you for the donation, man.
Yeah, so I saw the story, and as far as I can tell, the story is completely fake. I've never talked with Elon Musk or, frankly, any other donor about 2028. I do think that it would be a huge mistake for Elon to go forward with a third party. And my argument to him is, whether you like it or not, you are now perceived by the far left as on the side of the American right. You believe in law and order, you believe in closed borders, you believe in economic growth and prosperity, you believe in making things in the United States of America. The idea that Elon is ever going to go back to being sort of in the middle, where Democrats and Republicans both like him, that's just not going to happen. He is perceived as being on the American right. And so if he doesn't like things the Republican Party is doing, my advice to Elon would be try to fix the Republican Party. Try to push it in your own way. Disagree with me all you want. Disagree with the President of the United States, but don't pretend that you can make a big difference with a third party. I think Elon would make a much bigger difference if he stayed loyal to President Trump's Republican Party. And if he had disagreements, express those disagreements from the inside as opposed to from the outside.
The New York
Yeah, Musk is just a wild card. He got angry, he got butthurt, he's calmed down, and that's basically my synopsis of it. Elon's not even American. What is he doing creating parties? Right, and then that's the thing. Another thing, it's important because a lot of people that influence these politics, they're not American. And so it's like, we're really giving a lot of opinion to, and I get some of the reason it's because they got a lot of money or they've got a big, a lot of fame. But more than people, like if you really look at some of these people and you say, is that person even an American? That's just something I noticed. I was like, a lot of these people, a lot of these influencers trying to push certain politics in the United States, it's like they're not even American. Do you think that Trump might do a special operation to overthrow the Venezuelan government? Trump sent the Navy there around 5 hours ago to counteract cartels, but we know that's bullshit. I saw a video got recommended to me about him doing that. Yeah. I think that might be the next thing that people start really talking about. That's probably going to go mainstream because the mainstream's really not picking up on that situation with Venezuela, but he put out like a hit on the leader. And yeah, that's an interesting thing to follow with Venezuela. No, you're not banned, David. Israel-Gaza situation. Well, I think Israel wants to annex most of the Gaza Strip. They're going to turn it into some type of zone, and they're going to expel the Palestinians to Egypt or Jordan or a surrounding country. Yeah, no, gaming theory, I get what you're saying with Vance, and that is definitely something you have to grapple with, 100%. That's something you have to grapple with. And even just when it comes to Vance, like, you are right, is Vance going to be a hard ass on immigration with his wife? It just seems... It seems like we're being a little naive. I mean, he can come out and say the right things, I guess we'll see. Thoughts on Boise State? I don't think they'll be, obviously, as good as last year. I know they return a lot of talent outside of Genty, though. They're at 25 right now, so we'll see.
Take control of these cities, you can make them safe places to live in.
So your pal Gavin Newsom calls this an abuse of power, that this is just a power grab, and this is all stunt for show, and that you all are going to roll through other cities. You've heard things about, martial law is going to be declared.
Yep.
And to that you say?
Well, first of all, how is it a power grab or how is it a stunt when we've already declined murders by 35% in 9 days? How many people are living and breathing today because Donald Trump had the willpower to say, you know what, we're sick of D.C. being a home to lawlessness. We're going to bring some public order back to the nation's capital. So what I would say to Gavin Newsom or to anybody else in some of these big blue states or big blue cities is you can have law and order, you can have common decency, you can have public spaces that young families can go to again. Take a story, Laura. A couple of years ago, the last time I was in Union Station, I took my little kids there to get lunch, and they were being screamed at by homeless people, not compassionate to the homeless people to let them just fester when they clearly have mental health problems, not compassionate to young families to not be able to go into one of America's great public spaces without being screamed at by a person clearly suffering
Why are
from a
Democrats
mental
doing
illness.
this?
I don't know.
Why is this
I
a
don't
political
know.
strategy for
Laura,
them?
I have thought about this so often and so many times. I don't know why Democrats seem to love public disorder and chaos almost as a political ideology. And I think that part of what's going on is Democrats have gotten so divorced from the communities that they allegedly serve that they don't realize the gross majority of residents in D.C., they want to walk through Union Station and just have a bite to eat or enjoy the space with their families. They don't realize that so many people have been absolutely terrorized by Democrat crime policies. And so maybe they just don't make the connection between what Gavin Newsom says and the fact that places like D.C. or Los Angeles have some of the highest murder rates in the world.
And the DC
Yeah, well, what Trump is doing is really interesting because, these major cities, they're untouchable for Republicans based on the demographics. There's no way a Republican is ever going to win and become mayor and enforce some type of crazy law. The only way you can really do anything is through executive authority. So that's really the only way you can try and clean these major cities up is through executive authority, because it's not like a Republican is going to become mayor. So it's interesting that this is kind of circumventing the total ownership, and you wonder, is it a strategy to employ in other cities that could potentially help with it's not a long-term solution, though. That's the problem. So what happens after they leave? What happens after the National Guard leaves? Israel, Gaza, way too messy. Is Israel going to remove Hamas totally? Yeah, October 7th was the go-ahead for Israel to try and do whatever they wanted. I mean, look at what the situation is now. They've done so much to where they're, even with all their propaganda, the public relations situation for Israel is so bad to where, what is it, the administration, the Trump administration is like the only one supporting them at this point. At least any of the NATO countries. So they definitely said, when October 7th happened, they were like, this is it. This is what we're going to use. This is what we needed to be able to remove these people. Oh man, you're 27, still a virgin. That's just how high IQ works. Well, I mean, I do think people, they're having. You need to choose your partners wisely. I do think that. How was Giuliani elected in NYC? Well, dude, think about how much the demographics have changed. California was won by Ronald Reagan. But look at the California demographics in 1980. I mean, these cities have rapidly changed to make them unwinnable now, but it's been a really quick process in terms of the demographical shift in major cities. I mean, it's been like 30, 40 years. Would you support repealing the 22nd Amendment for Trump 2028? I just don't think it's realistic. I think Trump's age is the real sticking point. I'd be fine with Trump serving again 100%. But I mean, are we going to get Trump in a decrepit state? I mean, that's a lot to ask of Trump, and it just doesn't seem like a good idea with how old he would be. If Trump was in his 70s, I think you have to bring Trump back. Although you would have to look at some different amendments and taking him, but he's just too old at this point. Every time you go to Chicago soccer games at Soldier Field, genuinely hate how bad the homeless problem is. It's an eyesore and smells really bad. Yeah, and there's no way the suicidal empathy that liberals espouse is going to help those people. You can't leave them there. The answer is whatever there's not a 1,000% perfect answer because you don't know if the people are going to stay committed to getting help, but they have to be taken somewhere. They have to be taken to some facility. I mean, just for the livability of the city and the safety of the citizens trying to walk. I mean, that's a walking city, Chicago. Do you think we'll have the Fed chair get retired either through political maneuvering or some other way? Seems like they might be moving towards it with Lisa Cook resignation calls. Yeah, but I'm not sure how it's possible. I'm sure they've looked through all the revenues possible. The only revenue that I saw them actually explore was trying to get Powell on cost overruns for that renovation. But I'm not even sure if that's so what there were massive cost overruns and he spent taxpayer money on it, and that can get him removed via Congress, I guess. But I don't think it's gonna work. I mean, they're pressuring Powell to step down, but he doesn't want to. It's almost like he's more galvanized because he doesn't like Trump now. And it's like they're going against each other. I saw who predicted it? What was it? Some Wall Street shit, something. Somebody predicted that there were going to be no rate cuts this year, even though the FedWatch tool has it at like an 85% chance there's going to be a rate cut on September 17th. It was like Wall Street something. Why do people comment scroll down? Because they like me going to the next thing. Like, see? Trump signing an executive order tomorrow cracking down on burning the American flag. I wonder what the violations would be to burn the American flag. I mean, it's one of those where it's like, well, I mean, it is a cardinal sin. It is similar to the bald eagle thing. You can't harm a bald eagle. It's you're gonna face some serious jail time. So it's another symbol. I mean, it's not a living thing, the American flag, but it's more of the symbol and the disrespect to the country. Bald eagle was endangered. Yeah, it's not endangered anymore because they passed a specific law. Now it hasn't been endangered for decades at this point. The bald eagle, but now it's still a crime because it's the national symbol. Nick Glazing, Gavin Newsom makes sense. Fuentes endorsed Biden, then Kamala last year. It honestly baffles me how the right still falls for his ruse. Well, a lot of it is it's a different fraction. They're further right than obviously Republicans, so they counter signal all the time. That you just have to understand what it is. That's what it is. He has his own movement, and he wants his movement to be bigger. You're not going to make the movement's not going to be bigger if you endorse all these people that you're going against. So he's going against all these other people on the right, so you have to counter signal him. But I mean, I think the whole like Vance 2028 stuff is so premature. It's like, are we going to do this for 3 years? It's just, come on. Oh no, 100% I agree with you. If you have tried burning an American flag in another country, that's kind of the globalist aspect in the United States. The country, it says nobody respects it. I mean, obviously based on how big we are and what we've built and the military might, but just the core of the country is not respected. That's why there's all this flag burning and nothing can be done about it. And then they resort to these principles. And a lot of the principles were developed under different circumstances in the late 1700s, the early 1800s, when the country had a much different demographic makeup. And now they try and, like they use the freedom that we had, that we originally put in, but it was not, it was put in at a different time based on how much we've changed. It's like a different story now. Have you done an Israel Hamas video? Too much propaganda on both sides. Now, I've never done like the Israel Hamas stuff it goes back a ways. But I never did a video on Israel Hamas. The only thing I did was videos on there being maybe a few videos on a peace deal or something, or I don't know. You think it would be okay if they put the same law for trying to burn a Confederate flag? No, I mean, the American flag is going to have more value at this point than the Confederate flag for sure. I mean, that's our national flag. The Confederate flag is a different story. Oh, it is 5 seats. Somebody yesterday told me they compromised on 4 seats.
Breaking tonight, Texas Republican legislators have just won their fight over redistricting. Just moments ago, the state House vote is now final. The bill aims to provide 5 additional congressional seats for the GOP. Correspondent Garrett Tenney shows us what's happening from Austin, Texas tonight.
And so now Newsom will try and do his special election. I don't know if it's even going to pass with Newsom. But, Republicans got other states in the chamber if California. Because I heard Missouri, I heard maybe Indiana or is another state. There's a few states that are possibly going to get another seat. We're going to siphon another seat off of like 2 or 3 states. And then you've got 3 seats in Florida, 3 seats in Ohio possibly. Did you say Pledge of Allegiance when you were in grade? Yeah, we did. Will that seal the midterms for our side? No. I mean, I think it'll make it harder, though. Because, like, if we have a 5-seat advantage, and even if California is able to redistrict, we're going to gain probably another 5 or 6 seats. We might have basically a 10 or 11-seat advantage going into the midterms with the redistricting, plus the advantage we already have. So, but it's still, I mean, based on the amount of seats, it can swing for sure. But it's going to be very hard for them to if we can get like a 12 or a 13 seat advantage in total. I think it's going to be very hard for them. Right now, it's like the House is a little bit of a Dem, based off the generic ballot. They favored the Dems slightly. Really, you can only go by the generic ballot and like previous trends, because when somebody wins the presidency, the other party normally does better in the midterms. I don't know, man. This same-sex marriage is interesting. I wonder if this will be... I saw Hillary Clinton said she thought it was going to be overturned by the Supreme Court, the same-sex marriage. And then, a certain amount of states will ban it immediately. Is that like another Roe v. Wade for 2026 now? No, I don't have a PS5, man. I think Vance would probably run with Tulsi or Rubio, man. Should we keep some of the cute illegals? There have been some beautiful ladies getting the boot. They'd make fine wives. Well, I mean, dude, it's not. It's like, I mean, what are we talking about with that? I think that's that's not gonna happen. I mean, I feel like that's people have been trolling about that, I know, but then some people are serious about it. But I mean, I understand there's a problem with dating and reproduction in the country, but I don't know, that's not the right answer.
way to preserve redistricting in the future is to make sure that that doesn't become the case. If if a year from now, or a month from now, or if a week from now, if your cousin is kidnapped off the street, if UCLA closes down, if we announce that there won't be an election, if
Why
the
did he take his
census,
glasses off?
that we're relying on for the commission's next stab at redistricting doesn't include 1.5 million Californians in it, if we have no democracy left and we look back and said, if only we could have done something. Well, the nice thing about this is that we are in a time machine. We can do something. We know what is coming because it's in Project 2025. It's been made to preserve.
Yeah, but what is he
redistricting in the
saying? He's talking about 1.5 million illegals not counting. Is that what he's talking about? If the census we rely on doesn't include 1.5 million illegals in it, we have no democracy. Oh, that could be in a video, man. He literally took his glasses off, like, I think to get serious. Trump defeated the DEI judge. Well, how many of these judges did Biden appoint? They said he appointed like 200 judges. It's never ending. They're all over. Biden has infested this country with DEI judges, man. I think he had to have appointed a record number of judges or something. He's like, let me take my glasses off. He's like, this is serious. People on the right starting to like Newsom because his family is white is ridiculous. Don't pay attention to it. It's rage bait. CEO of Cracker Barrel, Rachel Maddow wannabe. Rachel Maddow's mother was the CEO of Crackle Barrel. There was apparently a bunch of libs protesting a child molester being arrested in D.C. at the National Mall by ICE. Yeah, I mean, I think they just protest anything that ICE is doing, to be fair to them. But yeah, they protest any type of arrest. They protest any law and order. Any authority against minorities gets protested by them. How can you run a city? I mean, you see what happens to these cities when you're lax about it. I mean, now Trump has to be involved and they cry about it. I mean, the city's going to be safer. A lot of locals like it. They won't speak up. Some of them do. You're playing BO1 Zombies. Kino is the best map. It's hard. I think Moon's the best map. Yeah, Moon's the best map for me. You ever been to Cracker Barrel? No, I've never been there. There was a shooting there a while ago. I think in Ohio. We heard about it on the news.
Yo no tengo nada, señor. Señor.
He tried running.
No, por favor. Yo no debo nada, papi. Yo no debo nada. 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 Yo estoy trabajando. Yo no debo nada. 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 Yo trabajo. Yo quiero estar con mi familia. Yo quiero estar con mi familia. Yo vengo de trabajar.
He's starting to speak English.
Por favor. Yo vengo de trabajar. Yo quiero estar con mi familia. Yo no soy criminal. Yo no soy criminal. Yo no soy
Hillary Clinton faces an ethics complaint. She stands to have her law license revoked due to her involvement in the Trump-Russia collusion treasonous conspiracy. He was saying, "Get the fuck away from me." Screaming in Spanish is not helping your case. Yeah. Kash Patel making a appearance.
You know, I think it'd be hard for them to get away with that. And I don't know that they've actually put that on paper. If they did, that's a huge scandal. But if they say you have to do English and then just aren't enforcing it, that's another problem too. And I think there should be accountability for it. And I said, as soon as we got, the facts on this, which, I know the video came out, I think over the weekend or Friday or something. And I commented on Monday because I wanted to get as much facts as I could. I didn't want to just pop off. I wanted to know what we were dealing with. But I said, we're going to hold this guy accountable, 100% criminal charges, and he's going to be in prison for a long time. But we also got to look at the company. How is he doing? The company put him in there. Did the company not look to see whether he could speak English? I mean, how do you hire somebody? Hey, how are you going to drive that? No English? Like, no, you have got to speak English. And there had to be a process where you were able to say, and this guy didn't speak English. So that's a huge problem with the company. So we're looking through that and seeing. And then we're also looking at the conduct of these other states to see, what recourse there's. It's harder when you're talking about other states. It just is, legally and constitutionally. But, how is it fair that, like Florida, we're doing the right thing? We've enacted the safe policy. I think it'd be hard for them to get away with that. And I don't know that they've actually put that on paper. If they did, that's a huge scandal. But if they say you have to do English and then just aren't enforcing it, that's...
Yeah.
Or if the Supreme Court says that the racial-based districts are unconstitutional, that we would have no choice as a state but to go in and do a new congressional map. But this is something that's kind of stuck in my craw for a number of years, because I remember telling everybody we were going to get 2 seats at the last census. And then when they came out with them, we only got 1. And I was looking around and I'm like, they told me Rhode Island was going to lose a seat and we were going to get 2. And then Biden comes in. Who's the Commerce Secretary overseeing the census? Former governor of Rhode Island. Did Rhode Island lose a seat? No. Did Florida get 2? No, we only got 1. So there's all these questions, and so I've been frustrated with it. We were not going to get anywhere, I think, under the Biden administration. And I know the president has personally spoken about the need to get the census right. So we have an opportunity to do that and to basically give Floridians what they're entitled to.
Yeah, no, he's right. It was miscounted. Florida should have gotten another seat. The liberal states, they overcounted them 100%. It's been confirmed on the autopsies of the census that they overcounted liberal states, mainly liberal states, and they gave liberals overrepresentation. That's not even counting the illegals that get counted in the census as well, which also give the liberals an advantage because that's where the majority of illegals are. They're in liberal states. Then they tried to swing it and say, well, no, they're mainly in Florida and Texas. That's not true. They're in California, New York, Chicago, Illinois. Has Gavin Newsom said anything about the truck driver? Yeah, he blamed Trump. He said, well, he was let in under Trump in 2018. And then it came out that the Trump administration denied the commercial driver's license for him. And then when the Biden administration came in, it got accepted in California. So Newsom takes no accountability for it at all. he tried to deflect and blame Trump because he's got this whole the macho thing going right now. So he doesn't care at all about the dead people. He just blamed Trump for his country's malpractice of giving someone that was not fit to drive a vehicle like that, you know, the driver's license for it. It's just, there's no accountability. That's the problem. You think if Rubio doesn't run as Vance's 2028 VP, then it should be 100% be DeSantis? Yeah. Well, people thought DeSantis was going to be Trump's VP in 2024, and he kind of shot himself in the foot by running against Trump. I understand why he did, but, you know, you're not going to beat Trump with the MAGA base. It's... Yeah, it's just, I don't know. This is minimalism run amok. Trump wants to eliminate vote by mail. Gee, I wonder why. Yeah, because the liberals utilize it the most, and it's got rampant cheating. Why do you think the European countries banned the mail-in voting? Europe did. Not even they say, oh, it's because Putin. He's doing it. Why are all the liberal European countries? Why have they all banned mail-in voting? I wonder why. Because there's rampant voter fraud involved with it. That's the real reason why. Why don't these liberals talk about how it's very rare for a country to have mail-in voting and why liberal states ban it? Liberal countries ban it. Liberal. Countries a hell of a lot more liberal than the United States ban it. You want to run for governor of Oklahoma whenever you get old enough? You're hard to write. Yeah, that's going to be pretty challenging for you, man, honestly. Unless you know people, it seems very, very hard. No, but I hear you with running for... I feel like governor is a better situation than a senator or president. Just because governor, you get to oversee a state. See, if you're the president, like... There's so much that's out of your control, but you still get blamed for it. So it'd be frustrating. Without mail-in voting, you don't think there would be a single Democratic state? No, come on. There would be Democrat states for sure. But I mean, the mail-in certainly helps, you know, because they disproportionately. I mean, many of those people would just go to the polls, but it disproportionately isn't. Because I don't think the country's that right-wing, bro. They would just have to go to the polls rather than mailing in their ballots. Man, those western states had a ton of mail-in. You want to get into politics and be a political commentator, so I'll probably meet people and gain clout in time to run. Yeah, I mean that it's I mean I guess good luck to you. That seems pretty challenging, but how would Trump actually go about removing mail-in voting? Can an executive order do the trick? No, normally I don't think an executive order will do it. It like gets the ball in motion, but I think a lot of it has to go through Congress. I don't know about that in particular. I don't think Trump can personally get rid of mail-in voting himself, because he'll do certain executive orders, and it's more to like to stop something short term. But I don't know. I think you probably need Congress with that, because that's been implemented for a while. The mail-in voting. Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to get rid of mail-in voting. Trump 2028, sorry, Vance and Rubio. Yep, thank you for the donation. Polite, rude guy. Stephen Miller meeting with them. That's got to be awkward. Well, that's a liberal city. You knew talking about Trump 2028 would summon him. You just think there needs to be more stipulations implemented to be able to vote by mail? I don't know I've never voted by mail, so I don't know the process of it. I don't know, man. I think understanding how other countries do elections and contextualizing that with mail-in is pretty revealing. Needs to be an option, but only as the last resort. Well, I mean, it's an option because there are disabled people, things like that, so it makes sense. But you know, they've been using it in a different way now. Why tell someone who's leaving to get out of there? Because it's all there. You know, they're trying to heckle them basically. You probably don't remember me, but the other day, you asked me to bless your future marriage. Yesterday you got married and it was great. Thanks for the positive vibes. Well, congratulations. Congratulations to you and your wife. They're upset the city is being cleaned, ignore libs. Right. I mean, they're just upset. They see red with Trump and Vance and they scream. It's like a bull with red. Anytime Vance or Trump is shown, they just scream. So there's no pleasing them. What city is that? DC.
The killers, the rapists, the drug dealers. And I'm glad they're here today. Because me, Pete, and the Vice President are all going to leave here, and inspired by them, we're going to add thousands more resources to this city to get the criminals and the gang members out of here. We're going to dismantle those networks, and we're going to prove that a city can serve for the law-abiding citizens who live there. We are not going to let the communists destroy a great American city, let alone the nation's capital. And let's just
You never commented on my stream, but you really like my political content. Thank you, I appreciate that. Remember to make your face cam bigger when you get Clyde so we can see him better. Well, I think I actually have a camera that only shows the face cam, but it's gonna be really grainy now. The thing with my webcam, it actually is pretty it's pretty decently HD. If it has really nice natural light. Without natural light, it's terrible. What if the Supreme Court sides with Trump in the anti-mail-in executive order? Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. I would imagine that there'd be judges trying to stop that. I don't know. I don't know what the relationship is with Congress being involved in that. Apparently, Japan's recent move to import labor is already backfiring. They're moving to ban tools causing cutting tools cause metal in getting cut off and stuff sold by migrants. Ban cutting tools cause metal is getting cut off. Oh, they're scrapping it. Yeah, well, it's. I mean, we've been through it, Japan. We've been through it. It's a cautionary tale, and what do they have to do it because they need workers? I mean, Japan's birth rate is horrible. Yeah, I fixed the poly market problem. You can take a look at this. Why is there this American? Oh, they're. Yeah, it's not surprising they did this. I'm surprised it took them this long. Surprised it took them this long. Fed decision September. Bro, come on. It's down. How is it down? It was at 80. Now it's at 70. Yeah, because there's been rumors. Now it's at 68. There's been rumors that they're not going to cut. Some Wall Street fucking thing said they're not going to cut. Ugh. There's got to be a night mode on this or some shit. Seems that if the executive branch and judicial branch are totally aligned, then the legislative branch can't really do much two against one. No, this is a new law. So you would need the legislative branch as well. I mean, if Trump wants to ban mail-in, you'd probably need Congress to do that. That's what I'm saying. So I don't think he can just unilaterally do that. You sign executive orders, a lot of it just gets. You're right, it gets struck down and then it goes to the Supreme Court. But what is the real? Like, there's unilateral ability by the president only to ban mail-in voting? I don't think that doesn't seem right. That would be great if that's true. If you get an invite to the RNC for 2028, would you want to be on stage for a speech or be there as a correspondent? I mean, I don't think I would be there. I mean, giving a speech in that situation's got to be pretty challenging because you basically have to just. I mean, you're just shilling for someone, basically, you know? So, I don't know, man. Putting a ballot into a machine to be counted has always seemed ridiculous. Well, I mean, I think that's just modern, modern innovation, modern technology. I mean, yeah, that's what we did. That's what we've been doing with our elections in Ohio. Depends on the machine, but yeah, we put it in a machine. It's how it gets tabulated. When should we make an educated opinion on our economy? Well, I mean, maybe a year in, maybe in like March of next year, March or April of next year, I would say. It's just too early. I mean, I think the economy is doing decent right now, but again, once we get the real tariff stuff and the lag wears off, and we'll see the inflation and we get a rate cut, and we'll see what happens. But I mean, listen, whatever, they're generating really good money. I know that. And I think what Trump is going to do is he's going to try and bring down taxes for people making under 100K before the midterms. That would be a prediction. Abby Phillips, by far the most biased person. Yeah, I have seen some of her clips with the round table. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, why do you have a moderator if she's just another liberal? It's very clear that she's biased. Like, is there a point to this? I mean, can the CNN producers say, hey, maybe don't be so biased? I mean, it's 3-1 already. Because even like I barely watch it. I just see their clips, and she's always extremely biased, and for the liberals, like noticeably. You use Polymarket for the 2024? Yeah, I used Polymarket mainly outside of the other ones. I mean, this was the main one. Look at this. They already got how much volume? 10 million. Earn 4%. Yeah, they got to do this because there's no reason to do this. There's no incentive to bet on this. To keep long-term pricing accurate, we're paying a 4% reward on your total position on this market. What does that mean? 4% at the end, like when you recoup the money, you get 4% more? Not sure what that means. Because who's going to bet on this? I mean, it's a terrible return. It takes 4 years for it to be solved. 3.5. Newsom up to 18%. I'm sure Bannon is probably Bannon's not even on here right now. It's just like the top contenders, I would say. LeBron. Waste of money, LeBron. Betting on that. Do a natty winner prediction video. Dude, honestly, it's like just throwing something at the... I mean, it probably would be Texas, honestly. But they're the #1 team, so... No, I'd have to go with someone else. I see a lot of people picking Clemson. I see a lot of Clemsons. But Texas is like the... Because overall, they're probably... I mean, probably the most talented. You could say maybe Georgia, although I don't think Georgia's going to win a third. Will Vivek be in the Republican administration after 28? Well, he would be the governor of Ohio. So I wonder. I don't think they're gonna have any. They're not gonna have any midterm stuff yet. The only midterm stuff they might have would be just the overall who's gonna win, rather than like specific races. Damn, Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin at? 115 right now? 114? That's all right. $1 million. Bitcoin, this is a good bet. I'm just telling you. 170 in this in 2025 is a good bet. I'm not confident it's going to go to 200. I think it'll go to 170, 17%. That's good odds. I'd be surprised if it didn't reach 170. I mean, you're splitting hairs. Like, you're splitting hairs because it might only go to like 168, but when is the Ohio governor election? It would be during the midterms. So November 26th. Wyoming launches a stablecoin. Dude, that's hilarious. Wyoming launches their own stablecoin called Wyoming One. The future of the great state of Wyoming. Wyoming launches a massive accumulation of the cryptocurrency DXY. The US DGen Index 6900. Hyperliquid. Yeah, that's a big blockchain now. Hyperliquid. Wow, they've still got Kanye West at a 6. Wait, what happened here? Did it get rumored he's launching a coin now? Dude, this is going to be another liquidity suck. It's annoying. No, it's not going to be bad. No, hopefully it doesn't do much. Mondani, 84% chance. Yeah. They would all have to leave. It would be Cuomo against Mondani, and then maybe Cuomo would have like a 40% chance. But if they're all still in the race, they're going to dilute each other. That's the problem. Democratic nominee Newsom is up to 28%. Yeah, Newsom really wants to go for it. I understand. You got 3K in Bitcoin. I mean, it's a hedge against inflation. I don't know. 3K is tough, man. I would look at like if you want a safe play, I could give you a really good safe altcoin that would do very well. But I understand if it's easy to buy Bitcoin. Oh my goodness. So that's a nice story there.
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Well, Julie Messino, it's wonderful to have you here.
Pleasure.
Is there a slop meme coin? Slop is such a great insult. Just call it liberal slop. Just such a great insult. I don't think so. Tell us what altcoin. BitTensor is a really good alt. It's about 4 billion. BitTensor should do a 10 to a 15x, I would say. It's the main. It's considered the AI version of Bitcoin. It's a decentralized Bitcoin and AI language aggregate. They have a bunch of coins on their network, and it's the Ion, what is it? Ion 5100. The Ion 5100 is an interesting one. That's only 3 or 4 million. Aerodrome, I think, is around 1 billion. I mean, these are all coins that should do well. But I'm into memes, honestly, man. I'm into memes. Come on, man. Come on, man. Hopefully this doesn't make news. There's going to be U.S. troops fighting for Israel. Xi Jinping is rumored to be stepping down. I think anything that comes out of China, I can't really trust the accuracy of it. Any news from China is suspect, man. Let's be honest. Israel has a soldier shortage. How? I don't know. Apparently they've got a bunch of dodgers. They got a bunch of people dodging them. Dude, it's just bad with the Israel stuff. You can't really defend it because, like, look at all the other NATO countries. They're all ready to recognize Palestine, or they already have, and Trump is just... The boomer final boss is just the pro-Israel. It's too much to overcome. Really wouldn't touch alts until you're in at least 0.1%. Oh, 0.1. So 10% of one Bitcoin. So you want an investment of like $20,000 into BTC. It depends. It all depends on your safety, your safety level, the threshold you want, your risk tolerance, safety threshold. It's what it depends on. Matt Fury memes. Yeah, I'm in a few of those. The Matt Fury memes, I view them as trades. I view them as trades. I don't know about long-term holds, but because a lot of them are hot, you get them at the bottom, you can catch them. Leading report. I mean, that's all. Trump says Smithsonian is focused on how bad slavery was. Too focused on. Well, I don't know, but I don't know about the Smithsonian, and I'd have to see their museum. MTG abolish property taxes. No, I think they should do that in Republican states. They should 100% do that. You went to the Smithsonian, pretty cool. I might have went when I was younger. I don't remember. It would have been when I was like 10 though. Damn. This is what it was, and this is the new look. Wow. It lost all of its character. This is what they do now, the restaurants. And it's that new white on black. That, ugh. Alright, I'll be right back. I had to do something. Like, what is all this? Dude, this video, this is like, look at this video, dude. Like, breaking 9. I mean, come on with this. Dude, you gotta calm down. You gotta calm down. Calm down. You're gonna see the cat. You're gonna see the cat. You're gonna see the cat.
Announcements, but we are looking at a whole host of points of leverage we can exercise over California and other states to make sure they comply with the law. Sanctuary cities are killing people because you allow these violent criminals to set up shop in your cities. Obviously, you saw this case with the person who murdered people on the road, 3 people.
Sanctuary cities should be illegal. They don't make any sense. We have borders. Why would that? Why would that not? Why would certain cities not have to follow the laws of just the country? I don't get sanctuary cities at all. They don't make any sense. We have borders around our country. Doesn't matter that like okay, so you're a city. So you just let anyone in. It doesn't make any sense. What do you think of UK's Online Safety Act and their censorship in general? It's a terrible. It's a Trojan horse. We all know it. It's bad. They've been saying it. They've been censoring a bunch of right-wing stuff from what I hear. And they dress it up and they say, well, it's to protect kids, and then they censor a bunch of stuff. And then they change the voting age to 16. So they're censoring all this stuff for the kids, and then the kids are voting on just pure state propaganda slop. Thoughts on the tech sell-off in Palantir? Well, I know Palantir, they're a data optimization conglomerate. They become a red herring for some people. Palantir is a small fish in a big pond in the AI world. And they fearmonger them, I get it, but
on the road because he couldn't even read the road signs. We have a lot of points of leverage here, but fundamentally, I think the American people have to stand with us here, because when we go and tell the governor of California or the governor of New York that you have to stop putting the interests of illegal aliens over American citizens, we need the American people to stand with us. And I think that they will. I think that they are. But we're definitely not going to let this slide, Laura. You can't do it. You've got to stop putting the interests of foreigners who don't have the right to be here over the interests of American citizens. That is the entire point and purpose of the Democratic Party. If you go back to the election of 2024, what was the big issue? The big issue was illegal immigration. They were actually defending the rights of illegal immigrants to come into our country, to vote in our elections, to collect Social Security and Medicaid that ought by right go to American citizens, to say nothing of housing. This is actually the biggest driver of housing costs in some of these big blue cities, is that they've flooded the zone with illegal immigrants. As we've kicked illegal aliens out of our country, you actually see housing costs start to level off. So fundamentally, the difference between Republicans and Democrats is we care about American citizens. They actually don't like American citizens and want to replace them with low-wage foreigners. It's a very stark difference, and I think the American people are going to continue to reward us because of it.
Yeah, that is true. There's so much propaganda the teenagers see on the internet. Yeah, well, it's going to happen no matter what. JD looks like he's got makeup on. He wears eyeliner. Illegals should not count in our census. End of story. No, I 100% agree. 100% agree, but it just makes total sense. I mean, why would illegals count towards rewarding states with more representation? What? So you reward states with them harboring illegals. Yeah, Vance is a good speaker. He's articulate. What Vance says is mostly false. The high prices are due to absurd housing regulations and bans on renters giving. No. Let me explain it. The right now the housing crisis is a supply and demand issue. There's not enough homes. There's not enough homes. There's too many people in the country. You are right. It's based on zoning problems. There's really big zoning problems in the United States. Certain areas where you can't build homes, so there's not enough homes. But the fundamental aspect of it is there's not enough homes for people. So it's supply and demand. If there's not enough homes, the demand for the houses are going to go up. They have to build more homes. There's too many people in the country demanding those homes, so they bring up the demand. Because there's more people in. And then the zoning makes it to where you can't build new homes. So it all kind of works together. What do you think of Ian Carroll? I think his 5 minutes are up. No, I'm not. No, Ian Carroll is fine. But he did have a moment where he went on Joe Rogan and he went viral and he went mainstream. But, yeah, I've got really no opinion against Ian Carroll.
Here in the heart of Washington, D.C., I'm hitting the streets to talk directly to the people who actually live here, the ones who deal with the city's crime and chaos every single day. Do you feel like President Trump's initiative to send in more police could be helpful for D.C. residents that don't live in safe areas?
Yes, I do. And I'm very appreciative of what Trump is doing. And I think everything that he's doing is helping D.C. as well as America.
At this point in my life, I think I'd rather move to another state.
How come?
Well, I've been shot 4 times.
He's been shot 4 times?
I'm tired of it.
You were shot 4 times?
Shot 4 times in my life, yeah.
So it was 4 separate times?
Since I moved to D.C.
Since you moved to D.C., you were shot 4 times?
Yeah.
Residents expressed frustration with wealthy liberals, progressive protesters, and Democrat politicians that continue to say that Washington, D.C. is safe.
They don't have to deal with the crime in the other areas. They have better stores, better protection, police protection. This area right here, around here by Hecker Jamal, I wouldn't want my grandchildren to walk around here. They live in this area, not far.
So what's your message to President Trump if he sees this?
I love you and keep up the good work and thank you for all of what you're doing. God bless you.
I just want the police to do what they can for our
Man arrested after shouting, "We love bacon."
Okay, we love bacon. Why? Because I like bacon. He likes bacon. Oh. Absolutely. I'm not Are you getting this record?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. They're arresting him because he says we love bacon. I mean, this is fucking so ridiculous. Sold your Bitcoin before the election last year to make a down payment. Have been super bummed that you weren't able to capitalize on that boom. You just bought $500. Yeah, it's tough. $500, man. I don't know what $500 is gonna do you in Bitcoin, bro. That's a tough one. You know, you're buying an asset that's worth. You know, you're basically buying it's got a high, almost high of a market cap as Nvidia. Muslims can't eat bacon. That's what. Yeah, but that you don't get arrested for that, for taunting them by saying you love bacon. Come on, that's the point. It's all I have to invest at the moment. No chance it'll go. It'll go down, bro. It will go down. I mean, I think it'll go up a little bit higher and then go down, but I mean, yeah, this next 4 or 5 months it should just go, or the next 3 months it should just go up. But to what point? To what end? Pros bummed over $50. I mean, $500 is a tough one, man. $500 in a coin that has a market cap of 2 trillion. That's a tough one. $500K by 2032. Yeah, that's very possible. You could say that's even bearish. $500K by 2032. If it's 20, yeah, it's, could be higher. Could be higher than 500. Your best chance is meme coins. Meme coins are a low cap AI, low cap layer 1, but yeah, probably a low cap meme is your best chance. But 500, even 500, you're gonna have to go real low if you want a chance. And there's a lot of risk with that. You had 4,000 before the election, would be like 10,000 now. Yeah, what has it done? A 2x from the election? Real housing crisis isn't immigrants, it's not enough homes. Yeah, I think you got that from Grok or ChatGPT, the way that reads. Was that from AI? I can tell it was based on the sentence structure of it. Show us your low cap meme coins. NASDAQ 420, DXY, 4chan. Those are the 3 that I would say. Caspa is your gamble. Yeah. Caspa's a high cap, though. I mean, what is Caspa going to do from here? Maybe a 10x, maybe a 20x. There's not enough home because of immigrants. Right, it's a byproduct. It all works together. It's based on supply and demand. That's what the housing crisis is. It's based on supply and demand. Yes, strict zoning is an issue, so they can't build the homes, but there's also a problem with the amount of people in the country through immigration. Turn 100 into 530 in sports gambling. Dude, sports gambling is miserable. I haven't done sports. Sports gambling is just a loser's gambit. It's not. The last time I did sports gambling might have been like 2018, honestly. It's been that long. I don't think it's worth it. I would rather go into meme coins. Maybe like 2019 was the last time, but Clinton Foundation being investigated. That's why they put like 10 immigrants into apartment rooms. They stack them, yeah. Meme coins. Sports betting, you have basically no chance of becoming rich off sports betting. Meme coins, you have a chance. That's the difference. Sports betting, it's impossible. It's not worth it. I mean, you win a bet, you win like $100. Congrats. You hit a meme coin, and you're gonna make thousands. It's annoying to know that Obama will never get arrested. I don't think any of them will. I mean, there can't be any level of confidence that any of these people get touched. It's you could ruffle their feathers, you could force Hillary to say some nice things about you, but at the end of the day, are they really going to be touched? Are they going to get a mugshot? Is anything going to happen to them? Are they going to be in court? Trump was first president to attend Super Bowl. Really? You'd think someone else would have attended it before Trump. It's like the most popular event every year in America. Do a study, $1 on every NFL game moneyline parlay. If you never hit big, it's just $18. If you hit big once, you're up like $400. Yeah, but that's basically impossible to hit that. The NFL is way too unpredictable. There's too many toss-up games in the NFL to hit on a. I feel like that maybe worked like 10, 15 years ago. You might be able to do that. Nowadays, all these teams are so close in terms of talent. Like 10, 15 years ago, the talent was a lot. There were like really good super teams. Nowadays, there's none of that. Guy making 2K a month off memes is top 10% of earners. So not sure how good memes are. Well, I mean, you've got to be good at it. It's like anything. It's not like a dividend where you're guaranteed to make money. I mean, you got to know what you're doing, but it's also not like, there's a risk reward factor. There's a massive reward and a bigger risk. Are Trump and Elon Musk friends again? There's rumors that yeah, he's back to donating to Trump's super PAC and how many NFL, MLB, and NBA games are rigged or players are throwing the game? I don't know, man. I think it's hard to say how many games are actually rigged. I never really bought into the games being rigged, but nowadays, I mean, there's a lot of incentive to do it with how big betting is. Yeah, you just got to pick the right meme. If you give yourself like 4 or 5 chances, I think you could. Because with what I have is I have it structured to where it's, I have a decent amount invested. So if it goes up, I'm gonna make a lot of money off of it. Thank God Elon shut up. Yeah, well, he'll be back, I'm sure. He'll be back saying something at some point. Probably best for his companies for him to shut up. It's probably a main reason why he decided to step back. Thoughts on Fuentes saying the N-word? I mean, I think the N-word is just a power trap that they try to utilize over white people, honestly. So, I mean, him saying it, you could say, well, if he wants to be taken seriously, he probably shouldn't say it. I don't know. Elon will come back on Joe Rogan podcast. Just watch. I'm sure he will. There was already talk he's going to be back on it. Nuclear, what's up my nukes? What that's what Trump says? All right, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. All right, hold on. Here's Clyde. Were you born in China? Are you a communist? He's not too happy. He's not too happy about my support of Trump. All right, go ahead. Oh my goodness. He needs to be brushed. All right, guys, I'll be seeing you another stream.